Hello, everyone. As we have global audience, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Great to have you in our live stream today. My name is Larissa Brinkmann from the SAP Global User Groups organization, and I'm your host. Today, I'm happy to announce the topic, and we will talk about AI in service management. Let me welcome our speakers. We have Lucas Hubacher, who is Global Domain Advisory, Asset and Service Management at SAP. We have Jeff Bonnell, Global Domain Advisory, Asset and Service Management team as well. And we have Ryan Jones, who have been our speaker yesterday, and I will on the topic of AI in asset management, and I will share the link to this session with you later in the chat. We kindly ask you to post your questions via live chat, and we will address your questions after the presentation. And with this, I'm happy to hand over to Lucas to lead us through the session.
Thank you very much, Larissa. Hi, everyone. Lucas Hubacher here out of Switzerland. Happy to be here with you to talk about AI in service management. So quick introduction about myself. I've been in this area of service and asset management since 2012. Coming from the field service management area and now supporting customers and partners, advising customers and partners in the space of asset and service management. Jeff, would you like to give an introduction about yourself quickly?
Yeah, hello everyone. Great to be with you, and thanks Lucas, thanks Larissa. Yeah, so Jeff Bonnell, working the same team as Lucas in Global Domain Advisory. I've been working in asset and service management probably for 20 years now, both first in industry, in utilities and manufacturing, and then working in the technology side for quite some time now. And I'm joining you today from Vancouver in Canada. So great to talk to everyone.
Perfect. Thank you, Jeff. So again, welcome to today's session. So let's jump into the topic. So I have used AI to generate this image as a simple practical example on the possibilities that AI offers us to make our work more productive every day. As one of the thought leaders in the AI domain, Andrew Ng shared, AI is a tool. He compared AI to a hammer. You can do great things with a hammer, and it makes many workers more productive. But there are also things you should not do with a hammer. So it comes down to the humans deciding what they want to do with AI to make their work and their life more productive. We at SAP see AI as a productivity booster for every user interacting with our software. Here we would like to remind you that we will share information around existing, already available functionality in this presentation, but we will share also outlooks into our roadmap. And as you might know, our roadmap is subject to change, and this is a quick reminder. That's why we have this disclaimer. So today we will talk about service. Service leaders are facing external challenges as well as internal challenges within their companies. Some topics to highlight are talent and workforce shortages. This year in 2025, globally, more workers are aging out, entering into retirement versus entering into this workforce. And this impacts also frontline workers heavily, like the field service space. Let me share with you some numbers. In US, 10,000 people are turning 65 years old every day. Especially the field service space is seeing very experienced baby boomer generation retiring, increasing the skill gap in this area. Additional trends and challenges that service leaders are facing are AI acceleration, as it resonates with the topic that we are sharing today, paper-based processes, data silos, and poor data quality. Nevertheless, service leaders continue to be focused on three key objectives. Number one, enhancing the customer experience. Getting a fast issue resolution needs to be easy for your customers. Therefore, organizations need to focus on improving overall the customer experience, on customers engaging with the service staff, being in simple cases that only require the back office service staff to interact with the customers, or in more complex cases where field service interventions are necessary. Number two, increasing operational efficiency. In the context of workforce shortages and with higher equipment complexity that we are seeing over the last years, companies need to do more with less. And number three, driving service revenue growth. Most companies have realized that higher profit margins can be achieved in service. Therefore, companies are developing new business models like uptime as a service to capture on this opportunity. This, of course, requires systems and processes to work in unison. This is why aligning customer service, service operations, and field service is critical. We at SAP see the middle part, service operations, as a key area within SAP Cloud ERP, where you have asset and equipment master data, contracts and warranty information, service order management capabilities, including information around spare parts, pricing, billing information, as well as integration into finance that ensures the visibility of revenues, costs, allowing for service leaders to have an accurate overview of their margins within service orders and service contracts. This is complemented by customer service capabilities, handling to the initial touch points with the customer, ticketing, omni-channel capabilities, and so forth, ensuring fast and accurate case resolution. Field service ensures that the technician equipped with the right tool, with the right skills and knowledge, and real-time data is dispatched at the right time to resolve issues efficiently. Additional capabilities like predictive service are also available as part of our offering in the suite for service management. The capabilities of the business suite are covered by the SAP applications. This is the lower layer of this slide. SAP has been a leader in developing world-class applications since over 50 years. These apps generate trusted SAP data that is available as data products with the right business context in SAP Business Data Cloud. This is the middle layer of this slide. AI, as you might know, needs massive amounts of data and data in good quality. And this is the fuel for the top part of this slide, where we have SAP Business AI, where we have as one of the examples, Joule as the co-pilot for your enterprise. Now we will provide you an overview what we have and what we will soon have in terms of AI in customer service, service operations, and in field service. Jeff will now provide you an overview of the capabilities that we have and will have in customer service.
Great. Thanks, Lucas, and appreciate the introduction. So when we think about customer service, a lot of us think about self-service portals. We think about call centers for reaching out to customer support, email inquiries, a lot of different channels when we talk about the omni-channel. And there's a great dependence today on human agents to handle that load coming from all of those different sources. And as we move forward with AI and AI agents, we'll start to see that role, and we're already starting to see that in quite a significant way. The role of the human agents is really changing, where they're not depending on individuals to manage all of the steps in the process, but it's allowing them to free up time and increasing their availability to focus on areas where humans really need to be engaged, whether that's providing more one-on-one service with specific issues or specific customers, or providing a more empathetic view when that human touch is really required. So we see the agents from a customer service perspective as really enabling companies to scale their customer service organizations with agents. As we see that transformation happening, there's more automation of the issue resolution, again, determining what potentially the issues are, what recommended resolution steps should be considered, and only the agents being involved and maybe doing a final review, approving before that next steps get pushed out to the customer, whether that's providing just feedback or sending a field service agent to go solve their problem. Additionally, we see lots of cases where with predictive service, it's the machine or IoT that's indicating that there's a problem that's going directly into the system. And as we saw yesterday, the with asset performance management and other capabilities, looking at anomalies, looking at visual inspections, being able to automatically identify what the issues are and pass that all the way through the system with a minimal light touch or no touch from humans to go ahead before you get out to the resolution. And one of the things that I think one of the big transformations that with agents and customer service brings is really scale, especially if you have surge events. If you think of, for example, of an airline, if there's a outage or a storm and everybody's trying to rebook their flights, today there's a lot of dependency on people to help manage those surge events, where in the future, the ability to handle that will scale with compute power and the availability or your ability to ramp up or ramp down your agents in line with those particular demands. So when we look at the product itself, when we look at our customer service solutions, there are many AI capabilities available today, and I invite you later on to scan the QR code here, look at our Discovery Center, and go through some of these in more detail, all the way from the initial customer inquiry to case resolution to continuous improvement. So things like when a customer calls in or an email comes in, being able to um, instantaneously get a synopsis of the account, of the product they're calling about, of the information about that particular customer. Are there any existing cases? Being able to automatically create a case from an email or other source that's coming in and categorizing those in a way that you're focusing on the most important things. So you're meeting your SLAs, you're keeping your customers happy, generating recommended resolutions for the particular problems, generating email responses to those customers to automate a lot of those steps. And beyond just the interaction with the customers, additional tools to help you really optimize on an ongoing basis for continuous improvement, whether that's looking at detecting duplicates, analyzing the types of cases through topic analyzers that you're spending a lot of your time on, and also generating account synopses for salespeople to do a follow-up when upsells or maybe there's a new equipment or a new service contract that would make a lot of sense for that particular customer. And I would also like to just maybe give you a little bit of a view into when we talk about humans and agents, it's really humans and agents. And you can see there are a lot of capabilities within the system that allow the users to fine tune how the AI is operating that really tailors to the preferences of that customer. And just this is an example with an email response, but again, it allows you to adopt the style, the tone, the length to be consistent with your brand and consistent with how you want to be interacting with your customers. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to, well, I'm going to talk about one example first. So just one quick example where this really comes to life. Bosch Power Tools has over 30 customer support centers globally in many different countries, and they handle about 1 million inbound ticket requests every year across those. And they had very complex rules and workflows to help sift through all of this and automate it. And it's a very high burden from an IT perspective. And despite all the investments they made, they were still only getting to 75% accuracy in terms of categorizing things in a right way. So they were following the right streams and the right processes to make sure those customers were getting cared for properly, and they were happy. So by introducing a case classification agent, what that did, it basically took the IT burden away and allowed each of the global centers using natural language to determine how they want their cases to be categorized and routed through those particular workflows. So not only did it significantly improve the outcome, but it also significantly reduced the cost from a total cost of ownership in terms of how they manage that routing of all of those particular cases. So it's just a great example of where AI can really help with a lot of business transformation, even in how they're working. So I'll pass that on to Lucas now to talk a little bit more around service operations.
Thanks, Jeff. Yes, in service operations, where you manage the core of your service processes, AI is also enhancing the productivity of your service staff. Let's talk about the use cases. Having the ability to immediately trigger in-house repair processes from PDF documents is one of the use cases that is already available. You have the possibility to upload PDF documents with the information of the process, and ERP immediately triggers the in-house repair transaction within the system. In-house repair, for those of you that do not know or are not yet familiar with the functionality, is a process where an equipment needs to be shipped from the customer back to the workshop of the manufacturer for an on-site repair process. It could be also a refurbishment process. The in-house repair process will be enhanced with Joule capabilities for searching and creating also follow-ups on this in-house process objects. This is in development. Another interesting use case is a use case around equipment summaries and equipment details. This is a use case that will be very soon available in Joule in November 2025, where we will have details of the equipment's transaction summaries, history of the completed service, and warranty data. For this specific example, we have provided in this presentation, and we will share with you now a quick video of a lab preview of this functionality in action. So the user can interact with Joule in natural language. In this example, the user, in the context of an interaction with a customer, would like to get additional information related to equipment number 107-13958. So he asks Joule, give me more details about this specific equipment. Joule returns the technical object that is a high temperature boiler for nuclear reactor. Then we have three possibilities. The user selects warranty data. So Joule retrieves the warranty data in terms of customer and vendor warranty information. Now the user selects the information around equipment history. Joule provides a very nice dashboard with the complete overview in terms of service request, service contract, service order related to this specific equipment. So here we can see the power of Joule. Imagine that without Joule, you need to go into different applications, into different transactions to capture all of this information. And now this is being done very quickly with natural language, selecting all the functionality. The last piece is the equipment summary. So it's a complete summary of services that were completed, services that are planned, services that are being executed, parts that were replaced, recurring issues, and even recommendations on possible actions that the company or maybe the customer can do to prevent additional failures. So imagine the power and the productivity gains that are possible when allowing your users to take advantage of these functionalities. With that, I'm handing over back to Jeff to talk about the AI capabilities that we have and soon will have in field service.
Okay, great. Thanks, Lucas. So with field service, as part of the service experience, often is really where the rubber hits the road in terms of the customer's overall experience. When an issue needs to be resolved at a customer's site. So all of the upstream processes that we talked about with customer service and service operations and the automation of those can really help ensure that the people that are being assigned to do the work are properly equipped and that they have everything they need to execute the job properly first time, drive high first time fix rates. And there are many capabilities within field service management. And I'd invite you, when you get the presentation, to have a look at the videos for each of these capabilities. And I'm going to spend a few minutes on a few of them here today, or scan the QR code to look at them in our Discovery Center, both in terms of what's available today, as well as what's coming on the roadmap. And a few specific things that I'd like to call out. Starting with the dispatchers, there are many AI capabilities available today that can help to automate many of the tasks that your schedulers and dispatchers are going to be performing on a daily basis. For those who are familiar with the field service management platform from SAP, you'll already know there's a very comprehensive AI powered scheduling and optimization engine that has a no code environment to build your rules, your objectives for what types of policies you want to trigger when certain events happen. So if this happens, run this scheduling policy. If this happens, run this scheduling policy. So it gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of really optimizing your utilization of resources in the context of your SLAs and objectives with your customers. And adding on to that, there are also some simulation capabilities that allow you through smart scheduling to be able to view the outcomes based on different scheduling policies, determine which one has the best result, and then choose that and implement that to execute in terms of optimizing your schedule. So it provides a lot of power for the schedulers and dispatchers to do their job in a much more efficient way. The second area that's really powerful is bringing a lot of predictive technologies into the scheduling, whether that is predictive routing based on real-time traffic or historical traffic patterns to ensure that you're factoring in your arrival times correctly and providing the optimal route for your technicians to travel and potentially even enable them to do one or two more jobs per day. Is a really important capability within the solution. Secondly, many companies have historically created standards for how long jobs should take, but that can be highly variable based on real world conditions, highly variable based on the skill level of the technician. So there are capabilities with AI now to predict the actual duration of the job based on some of those factors: historical poor performance for this equipment at this customer, historical performance of a technician at this skill level. So it gives you a lot of flexibility to really more precisely determine how long is it going to take to get people there, optimize the routes, and also to have a more realistic perspective of how long the work is actually going to take. And a third area is generating equipment insights and activity summaries. So again, even with a planned job, maybe there's information or additional information the dispatcher needs or the technician needs about the equipment, what was recently done to that particular equipment. Again, the output of these is highly configurable, so you can tailor it specifically to how you want that information structured. Or if you're handing over an activity, let's say you have somebody, your previous shift didn't finish it, somebody else needs to pick it up the next day, just generating an activity summary that can quickly give a synopsis of what was done, where kind of stands at the current point in time can really help accelerate the handover and productivity from one technician to another. As we move forward, we'll see all of those capabilities start to become more automated with dispatcher agents and other agents. And if this is an area you're interested in exploring further, get in touch with your SAP rep or get in touch with us, and we can certainly give you more insights and into the capabilities here. But what this really does is allows the dispatchers to begin interacting with their whole end-to-end process through natural language with an agent. That can drive productivity even further and significantly reduce errors because you're eliminating some of the manual steps out of that process. So if we want to have a quick look here, let's see if we can get this to play. Here we go. So essentially how this works is I can ask the system to show me all of the activities for a particular customer or a piece of equipment that are already due for scheduling. And I can go ahead and say, okay, schedule all of these activities for this particular customer, location, whatever it may be. I can determine which scheduling policy I want to choose. And I can look at the different outcomes for that. I can also determine the time period if I want to do it for tomorrow. In this case, I'm going to suggest I want to do it for the next 2 weeks. So very quickly, with very few clicks and very little interaction, I'm telling the system basically, show me what's due for this particular customer, show me schedule it based on this policy and do it for the next couple of weeks. As you just saw, I can also interact with the reports to tweak those policies if I want to really focus on continuous improvement, and then automatically dispatch those out to the technicians. So again, just further productivity boosters that can really help optimize your operations. That's on the dispatcher side. As we look at the technicians, really important, a couple of considerations and areas we're really focused on with AI for the technicians. First, in terms of, we talked about routing and optimizing their routing for the day on the scheduling side. But as Lucas mentioned, we have a transition in our workforces right now. There are a lot of people retiring. A lot of those skills and capabilities are leaving organizations. And companies do have struggles attracting, retaining new talent in some cases. So optimizing the ability to generate a guided procedure, recommended steps that need to be followed for maybe a less tenured technician can really help to smooth the transition of the labor force as new people come in and maybe don't have as much experience. You can use the technology to really help guide them and augment the senior people that may be coaching them and working them through the process. Additionally, for many companies, you're really trying to capture not only the technical details from an equipment history perspective of what was done, but also the commercial aspects of it. And being able to simply communicate with the device in natural language, explain what was done from a debrief for the job, what parts were used, what mileage I may have incurred, what expenses I have, can automatically be populated into the system fields. So it really reduces the burden on the technician to be clicking through their device as well. They can just talk to it with their voice, and it'll fill in the fields for them, and they can do a final check before sending that in. Another area for the technicians, which becomes very important as well, is the ability to create the equipment summary in the field. So we saw that from the dispatcher side. But again, if I want to know quickly what's happened to this piece of equipment before me, what was done, I can quickly go ahead as a technician in the field and just tell the system, hey, generate a summary of what was done. where we are in that particular process. And that could become very powerful and really reduce the amount of time people have to spend searching for information. And if you were on Ryan's session yesterday, he talked about how many technicians spend up to 30% of their time just on administrative tasks. So this can help reduce that, and more time on tools, more time on the actual jobs. So what's next? So when you look at how do I engage, if there's some things here that were interesting to you, you can envision if you think about what we covered both yesterday and today in the asset management session and the service management session, you can envision a scenario today where you can use predictive technologies to determine an anomaly or through a visual inspection what a particular problem might be. Within the core planning, you can use AI to automatically suggest templates for planning of the work and reducing the amount of time it's taking for planning and scheduling. We saw how when it's coming to assigning the right people to the job, how AI can really help to make sure you're optimizing your workforce, optimizing the routing and the execution of that particular work in the field. So three things really to think about is how can we help you empower your workforce with some of these technologies, again, free them up from some of those administrative burdens to focus on the value add, the things they can really add value to, and scale using technology, scale with AI, and focus on that return on the employee engagement, which is so important as you're trying to attract and retain new employees. Looking at optimization from an end-to-end process, we can engage with you through discovery workshops or other mechanisms to really help you understand where AI can help solve your biggest pain points first and create the value case, demonstrate return on investment before maybe you scale into other areas. But also, Lucas shared a slide earlier on that talked about the applications, talked about the data, talked about the AI. When you look at really optimizing end-to-end processes and not just what's happening in particular areas of your business or siloed applications, you really want to be thinking about the platform and laying the foundation that's going to help you scale and adapt and innovate as your service model evolves and not have to re-platform as you embark on new initiatives within your company. So with that, I'd like to say thank you very much for joining us today, and I'll pass it back to Larissa for any questions.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Lucas, for these insights. As both of you mentioned, we've heard a session on AI in asset management yesterday. I've also posted a link in the chat for those who missed this session and would like to catch up with the content that was shared yesterday. I can only encourage our audience to post the questions in the chat. And while we are waiting for questions, I would like to ask, what is the main obstacle to adopt this technology? What do you see as the biggest obstacle for usage of these capabilities, AI capabilities?
I mean, maybe I can start, and Lucas, you can add on. I think there's two areas that often come into play, and as we're coaching our customers where to get started, and we, as I mentioned earlier, really recommend start with a specific business problem, demonstrate some ROI solving it. But one of the things that often is a challenge is data. So again, just having the foundational data in place, the to train the models, to use as the baseline for improvement. And that's where, when we talk about the platform with not only the applications and AI, but also the business data layer with business data cloud in the middle, is really a key component to help drive that, because having that data there becomes extremely important as a step. And then maybe the other area we see is again, this is a new journey for many companies. So just knowledge, skills, and change management sometimes becomes a challenge as well. And these are areas that we can certainly help with from a coaching perspective, and help focus on solving small problems and getting comfortable with the technology, the skills that are required, and then scaling from there. So Lucas, don't know if you have any additional comments there.
Yeah, you have summarized it very well. So I would only add one third point, which is the AI technology works best in the cloud, right? And if we look at the core, so if we look at the service operations, customers that are still on legacy technology, on-premise technology, it's not easy. It's not as easy for them to get to the next step in terms of AI. So this is also maybe one topic as customers are moving to public cloud, private cloud, ERP. So this is also one of the advantages that they will be able to benefit on this AI functionalities that we are developing, we continue to develop, and we will develop even more over the next years.
All right, thank you for that. I can't see questions in the chat, so I assume the presentation was very comprehensive, and especially in combination with the session yesterday, I think it's a great solid foundation for any customers to check and explore the AI capabilities in asset and service management, and start their own journey and see where we as SAP can support you on this journey. All right, with this, I can only encourage you to stay with us, to stay on SAP community channel, also catch up with the news that we are sharing. And if you have any questions, you can contact us or you can leave a comment under the video. We will be very much happy to interact with you. With this, thank you very much, Lucas and Jeff. And of course, thanks to our audience for being with us. Thank you very much and bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.